Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Chanel in the City on iHeartRadio. I am your host, Chanel Omari, and we have a fantastic episode today. We have a very special guest on our podcast. I'm a huge fan. She is beautiful, she is talented, she is kind, she is funny. She is a former Russian beauty queen. That's right. Live in the flesh and the Real Housewives of Miami star on Bravo TV, streaming right now on Peacock. Make sure you binge watch it. And she's a proud advocate member of the LGBTQ community, contributing a lot with her wife along the way. Please help me welcome our dear friend, Julia Lemigova. How are you?
Thank you for such an amazing welcoming. Thank you. Thank you.
Of
I am
course.
great. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Thank you so much for doing this. First of all, you look so beautiful. I love your outfit and what you're wearing, your hair. You're just so beautiful. It's amazing. I'm going to be like, how do you do it? You're like, Chanel, I was born this way. Can't really teach you how to do it. I also want to give a shout out to our producers here at Gas Digital and Straw Hut Media. Thank you for sponsoring this episode. We're going to get right into it. Julia, you've had an incredible season. Miami is back. We love Housewives of Miami. You're shaking it up. You're making it interesting. Talk to us about this season and what was the experience like for you or for you? What is it like for you?
It's still going on. I mean, I'm still living it, even though the season is out and I've seen myself on TV already, but it's like, I still live it. I live it, I feel it, I love it. It's the whole package. And it helped me also in so many ways to even discover some things about myself and, look at myself from the screen and thinking, okay, whatever, so it was a learning curve, and it was so much pleasure and fun to be filming with this dynamic, amazing group of women. And in Miami, hello, it's like great. And also gave me this incredible opportunity to shine a light on our life and my family, and show the world that love has no gender. And I was always saying it off camera to my friends, to my people. And then the network gave me the opportunity, and the show gave me the opportunity to say it loudly to everybody else.
I love that. Yeah, talking about that, when I watch the show, I talk a lot, to my friends, part of the LGBTQ community. And they always tell me, Chanel, we want more people to represent different types of people in the LGBTQ community, not one stereotype. So what I loved what you and your wife did this season is that you represented that there's different types of people. You know what I mean? That in the LGBTQ community representing and, people living their daily lives. Talk to us about how important that was for you to showcase.
It is incredibly important because, we are all different. And in reality, once again, love has no gender. We have exactly the same problems like straight couples do. There is no difference. If anything, we maybe have more struggle, because I remember, well, first when I moved to Miami, that's like, I love this place and it helped me to open up and kind of come out.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, same-sex marriage, you couldn't get married in Miami, in Florida. So we had, as a kind of immigrant couple, right, in Miami, had different struggles to live here openly and have the same, I wouldn't even call it privileges, just like normal advantages that straight couples had at the time. Such as just, if something, like my biggest worry was, oh my God, I'm here with my partner, Martina, and my kids, but what if something happens to me and I'm end up in the hospital? If for straight couples that, they could get married and something happens, they call the husband or they call the wife. In our case, that would have been a big problem, because we could not officialize our relationship. Like, how crazy now it sounds, but unfortunately, even just a few years ago, that was the reality. So getting married and normalizing and now shining the light on family challenges in life, it's an incredible opportunity and privilege for me. And I'm just trying my best. I don't know how well I can represent, because it's a huge word, but I'm trying to do my best to just show how I live, how Martina and I live, and our kids, and the multiple animal family, and hopefully people will relate. And certain people who maybe not yet accepting it will see that our life is no much different than theirs, and maybe we'll look differently at it. Thank you for the show, you know.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. You're doing an incredible job, showcasing that, and we're all relating to it, and you're helping a lot of people get in touch with their feelings. What I love about you this season is, you don't apologize for who you are, and that's something we all have to do. We can't keep apologizing for who we are, right? And you come strong, and you come off feminine, and you come off beautiful. Tell us what what was going on in your mind when you joined the cast, because there's strong women. And you know how women are. The OGs are on there, and it's all about clicks and who can be accepted. And we see a scene even with Adriana and Marisol being, talking to Larsa and just at the dinner table saying, OG, not OG. It's a tough crew to break in. Talk to us about your experience on how you broke into this crew.
I broke into this crew pretty much like I broke into pretty much anything in my life prior to that. It's actually funny because before joining the cast, I have never watched any of the shows, any of the seasons. I only watched or any other like franchise of other cities. I was totally like housewife virgin, whatever you call it. Right? I watched, when I knew that I'm going to be participating in the show, immediately, like in 3 days, I watched like a season a day. But still, I was so new, and I didn't even know really what OGs really meant. So coming in and meeting all the ladies and interacting with them, I had no preconceived ideas whatsoever. Like, why would I be different than you? Like, what does it matter? You've been on the show years before me or not? It's like completely, I'm totally oblivious to this. So I came in completely fresh, kind of with no expectations, just like as cameras would not be there. You meeting new women, some of them I knew from before, some a little bit less, and just you get on with your life and with your day. That's how I take life, period, and no difference on the show. Same thing, same exact thing.
I love that. I think it's really important for our audience to know that, because we deal with a lot of bullying and mental health, and we give tips to people on how to cope with it and not lose themselves, not lose control, because it could happen to the best of us, whether we're on reality TV or in real life. Reality TV is real life, but in general, we don't know how to face head on. Any advice or tips to us how to deal with someone who either bullies us or puts us down or makes it harder for us to be accepted? I think that's the question.
It's very hard, and everybody deals with this in their own individual way. And truth is, I think there is no right or wrong. The most important thing, at least for me, is kind of not taking a step back, because taking a step back is allowing those bullies to dominate you. And like same way, like imagine, I think for me it was like whenever I would be in a situation where somebody would attack me or say something nasty to me, my reaction would be the same as if somebody would hurt my children or my animals or my friends. So I wouldn't necessarily, and it helped me to defend myself, projecting and manifesting that I would react the same way if somebody would hurt my family or close ones, and then I'm unstoppable. I go and defend. So then why can't I defend myself? And sometimes it's really difficult because we are much better, and it's human, it's much easier, naturally comes to us to defend others than ourselves. But it takes some maybe self-practice, and just think how to love yourself first. And then through that self-love, you can then be, stronger about going at others when they attack you personally. Because if you defend your pet or your kid or your wife or your husband, do it also for yourself, because that's right. And don't let the bullies get ahead. Just cut their oxygen right away. Do not let them. And you will never feel bad defending yourself. You may just regret not doing it sooner.
I love that. That's great advice. It's loving yourself. That really is the truth. That's the step to really being kind in general and how to really solve problems, Because the more you don't love yourself, I realize the more you get angry and the more you fight fire with fire, right?
Right, right. How can you love others or give love to others if you don't love yourself? And it's not easy
I know.
because
I was going to
we're
say, how do you love yourself, Julia?
so it's not easy because we are naturally so judgmental, and like I am extremely cautious and like self-cautious and like self-criticizing myself sometimes, but that's a negative. And as long as you don't sweep it under the carpet, as long as you face it and and so it's okay, it's difficult, but it's okay, face it, it's already a first step forward towards loving yourself and going to help you in the long run.
I love that. Let's talk about also the castmates you did get along with this season, and why. Who would you say was your favorite, or just why you bonded with them more? And who was your least favorite? Why did you think you were at odds with the other person?
Well, because Adriana, she's my best friend. I knew her for years, but I was also like so happy to get to know Nikki, I call her Nikki, Nikki really well. And it was just like immediately we bonded just like that. We have so many things in common. And I adore Lisa. She just makes me laugh every time. And, her mother-in-law is Russian. So like, I'm looking forward one day meeting her. Lisa is like an incredibly generous host. She's so much fun. So it's just like such a dynamic, amazing group of women. And honestly, you learn from everybody. You not necessarily have to love somebody and say, well, she's my best friend or she's my favorite friend, but you can still learn from even people who you get along least or you trust the least.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about how you felt, since Adriana is your best friend, right? A lot of times we feel overprotective, like you said. We want to protect our best friends. When she was at the dinner table, there is a scene, and for those of you right now, start streaming, binge watching. You guys can get it on Bravo TV on demand right now. You can stream it on Peacock. It will be airing on Bravo TV, an actual Bravo TV. Talk to us about that scene where she confronts Larsa about the whole coming into the group, feeling better, but now the whole Kim Kardashian, she had mentioned the Kim Kardashian thing of her feeling, you can clarify this, I think, more for us, I guess, of her feeling like she's not part of the crew. What was your opinion during that dinner? How did you feel? I know that you had your opinion, you gave your 2 cents, and do we fight for our friends when they're in conflict with someone else, or do we take a step back and talk to them on the side?
I think you can do both at the same time. You first listen to what they have to say and what is this argument really about, and actually listen to them, what both sides have to say. And then if you feel that it's not your place to say something, that you can kind of step back and let them deal with it, because sometimes we feel like we don't need help. But if my friend reaches out to me and I feel she needs my friend, then I am there. And I'm not biased, if I would feel that, the opposite side is making sense, and, I would defend both, but it was not necessarily the case with Larsa and Adriana. Adriana is like a very fiery Brazilian girl. She may have overreacted sometimes a little bit, but the core of the thing was Larsa said some horrible things. She attacked different issues, different human issues, and she called Adriana. That's my parrot on the background.
I was like,
acting like.
He's like, don't gossip, don't tell him.
I know. Larsa called Adriana horrible names. She called her bipolar. She called her homeless. Seriously, like, how does even those words come out of someone's mouth? But it did. So there is nothing to say. Larsa did it to herself,
Right. So there's always, I always say there's your side, there's their side, and then there's somewhere in the truth, right? And then some people don't realize that, Adriana reminds me of me. It's like she'll defend her honor till the end, but no one knows why where it started from the beginning, right? It all gets lost because sometimes she's actually warranted to actually fight back, right? And not stay silent.
I think when Larsa hears something that she does not agree, which goes like against Larsa's belief, she loses it and uses words that you can never take back, you know? And even if she's trying to later on justify her behavior, even towards Nicole, when she said that the child out of wedlock, she tried to say that she didn't mean it really this way. But, you know, girl, if you don't mean it, don't say it. If you say that you're making some kind of parallel of what you're trying to come across, you know, so I strongly beyond disagree and not feeling that just not feeling comfortable around Larsa's presence at this moment.
And yeah, I was going to ask you, right, where do you stand? How did that affect you getting to know her more or not getting to know her? Where do you two stand within the season, if you can clarify to the audience too?
Throughout the show, she showed different sides of her. You see, on the paper, it looked like we could be best friends. Our kids went to the same school. We both were married, you know, to famous athletes. But yet, in reality, Larsa's attitude towards me was extremely condescending, I would say dismissive, and turns out to be kind of aggressively hypocritical, you know. And then after the filming was done, you know, in the recent event, she gave an interview calling Adriana all kind of names and compared Adriana to a grumpy old man. Like, really? I could not react to that. So first of all, it's like a double insult. Why would you call a woman, you know, a man, and why would you even go there? Why? But in Larsa's mind, that's okay. That's another thing that she feels she can get away with and say. So I reacted. I just said, you know, I think Larsa is projecting. As a result, Larsa calls me a weirdo and say, stay out of it, no one asked you. Followed me on Instagram and I think blocked me as well, you know, which is absolutely fine with me, but how childish and silly it is. I don't think she can take criticism very well. I don't think, even if it's a constructive criticism, that's something that's not going her way. And where we stand right now, it's seriously like ... You know, I'm disappointing in her as a human being. And, you know, but I'm open-minded to please prove me wrong. You know, it's not your words, it's only your action and your behavior. But she has like a long way to go to make me open up to her again.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see that. Hopefully we can see that next season. You know, that's a great thing to follow, to see how you're standing up to someone who's hard to stand up.
There will be next season.
Right. Yes, there will be. We're putting in the universe. Real Housewives of Miami better come back next season, or else, you know what's going to happen to Chanel Omari? I don't know. My mental health is going to go down. Not that they're creating it for me. But you know, that's interesting to see, because I think a lot of times social media, we all, you know, I had a reality TV show for one season on Bravo, and I was really, you know, I was friends with these girls. And then when the season ends, people don't understand these are our real lives that continue, and the fights that are real continue on social media. And so it's interesting. Even now, I get so upset, Julia, when someone blocks me. It's like crazy that we even get that upset. Any tips that you can share with us mental health wise on how to cope with that? So if somebody blocks us, if somebody doesn't want to hear our truth, if somebody says these slanderous things that aren't true about us, what do we do? Julia style, what do we do?
Julia style, right. Well, you know, I mean, in my style, to keep kind of my sanity, you know, I spend all my time I can getting like positive endorphins from my animals, you know, so that's kind of keeps me grounded and smiling.
How many animals do you have on that note?
Oh my God, I wouldn't even know. I probably have like 500 beating hearts or something like this on the farm, because I have like a lot of birds and chickens and geese, and now I have a mini cow and a donkey, some dogs and parrots, name it. I mean, I love it more than better. And so they give me a lot of positivity. But then, of course, we're human, we're emotional. When we and me in particular, I am on Instagram and read sometimes comments from some people, and when it's more negative than positive, I just think, okay, that's how you feel. It's a person. And then my advice to like the others who struggle with this, at the end, you don't know this person who wrote you something nasty, right? I would be more affected if somebody close to me would. But you're human, you still get affected. But I think in life, I've learned that you can never please everybody, and know that you should even try to. So it's not a big deal. Yes, we can like swipe and unblock, or try not to get personal. It's if those people decide to manifest something nasty because that makes them feel better, it's on them. You kind of do it more, like put a mirror, wish them best. And life is a boomerang. Maybe they will come around and realize that they shouldn't be that nasty. Like, why? It's and then maybe sometimes I even feel sorry for them, because to write such nasty comments, they must have some difficulties in their life. So I never reply something nasty to them. I just kind of like, okay, that's how you feel, whatever, and I move on. It's not easy, but
Yeah,
it's,
but it's
where it helps.
I love this. No, I love this advice because it's so beautiful to come from love. I think you're right. Hurt people, including me. I've been guilty of it, and angry people hurt angry people. Sometimes it's okay to put the ego aside and look within and say, how can I
Yes.
come from love regardless of someone being so horrible to me? Right. And like you said, self love, confidence. No one's going to know you better than you. Right. I mean,
No, exactly. And in the end, maybe I'm this kind of this Manila romantic Russian nostalgic, I don't know, but I will truly believe at the end, love has to win. You can be down and horrible things can only happen for so long. And when you hit the bottom, you have to go up. It's gravity, it will happen. So just kind of, try not to destroy, auto-destroy, self-destroy yourself by allowing this negativity touch you.
I love that. Amen to that. Let's switch a little bit gears to go back to, I know we talk about your coming out story, which is important. You talk about it and mention it in the season. Can you kind of give us a little history of how you met Martina, who's so beautiful, your wife, and how it happened, how she proposed or you proposed? And because we do see a little bit of that on the show. I don't want to give anything away for those who are tuning in and who are waiting, but can you kind of talk to us through that and how you came out for others to maybe feel comfortable? And yeah, if you could just share that story.
Martina and I known each other forever. We met for the first time exactly like 22 years ago. Oh my God, can you imagine?
Wow. Are you sure you look 22, Julia? Okay. What's the skin? I hope you're coming out with a skincare line, girl, because I need that skincare. But that's
I had
amazing.
actually fun for 10 years, like mixing little herbs and potions, but I think it's the animals. It's just the love, whatever, But yes, we did meet 22 years ago for the first time, and exchange numbers, and never seen each other again for next 8 years, just like that. And then it was in Paris. It was during tennis tournament, and exactly 8 years later, I bumped into her at the same place, almost during the tennis. It was a players' restaurant during Roland Garros, and I had my 2 daughters. One was 2, one was 6. And she was like, oh my God, Julia, how are you? And I said, I'm good. This is Emma and this is Victoria. And I said, would you like to have breakfast 8 years later? She said, yes. So we had breakfast the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day, and then she moved in.
Oh my God, I love that.
Literally like breakfast, moved in. And she's lived with me in Paris for maybe like 4 or 5 years. And then we made it possible to move to Miami.
I love that.
Here we are. And I was about coming out. You asked me before about coming out. Paris I was terrible, in Paris, I just could not. I was so self-conscious. I was walking on the streets of Paris or sitting in a restaurant. and like admiring straight couples kissing each other, holding hands, and something that it's like so normal to me now. And at that time, I couldn't do it. I couldn't even imagine making myself do it. And Martina would hold my hands and I would take my hand away and say, darling, no, people can watch us, they can see us. I don't even know how Martina stayed with me for so long back then in Paris, you know. And then it was my daughters actually who stood up to some parent in school making some nasty comments about us or some gossipy comments, and they stood up and, you know, defended us, our family, like, what do you mean saying all of this? And I felt so ashamed. Oh my God, my girls are, you know, embracing us and accepting us, and I am still being shy about it. And then we moved to Miami, and that was an eye-opener. I felt so free and so myself here. Like, you never ever regret coming out. What you do regret is that you wish you would have done it sooner, and that was totally my case. But you know, what's done is done, and I'm so happy at where I am right now. And if I could help some people based on my personal life experience, that how long I waited and how amazingly happy, like you feel 1,000,000%, you'll feel like this huge weight off your shoulders, and just accepting who you are and who you love, you know, because how, to me today, it's like, how could it be, how my life could be anything else than what it is today.
I love that. How was the cast? How did the cast feel about accepting you and Martina as a couple and the LGBTQ community? You know, how were they with you guys? How did you feel?
You know, like I never felt that I even have to explain or say that we're anything different. I mean, some ladies I didn't know well, some I knew well. So it never kind of came across as how you accepting me or not. It was just, hello, my name is Julia, and here we are, you know, let's start. And that's how it should be. It's not because, you know, you're married to a man or married to a woman. It's just like that. And ladies, all of them were amazing. So it was never a surprise. It was never like, oh, if anything, some of them maybe were more distant because they didn't know me as a person, not because who I am married to and what I represent.
Right. I love that. That's an important, beautifully said. Talk to us about your favorite moment on Real Housewives of Miami this season, and then we'll talk about maybe your worst moment you felt.
Favorite moment. I honestly had a blast filming, and you know, my favorite moment is a little bit maybe bittersweet because my favorite and least favorite, they're kind of matching, they're kind of the same. It's pretty much my personality actually. The trip to Montauk, as much crazy as it was, and I was like sick like a dog, and oh my God, I'm dying, like paramedics and the whole 9 yards, this whole craziness. But at the same time, it helped me to see, it was kind of acceleration of getting to know all the ladies and see who they really are from the different aspect, because we were on a trip, we were out of our comfort zone. And then you could stick, you know, you could not really hide some traces of your personality, as well as you could hide just like if you would meet for lunch or dinner somewhere, because then everybody's pretty, everybody's like la 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 la, and then you go home. On that trip, it was so many like Russian mountains up and down that, as much crazy as it was, and maybe not my best look and moment, but it helped me to see who is who.
I love that. Yes, because you always know someone well enough, right? When you go on a trip with them or you live with them, they say.
It was authentic. Yes, yes.
And would you say, oh, so that's a bittersweet. That answers two questions. What can we expect for the reunion? Because first of all, the fashion in Miami, and you guys look incredible in that picture that we got a sneak peek from Bravo. We do not know what's going on the reunion yet, right? So can you give us something? I know you can't talk too much about it. What can you tell us?
Well, kind of reunion. I like the word reunion because it really kind of assembles what's happening. You know, we're all there, we all reunite, and what happens when a bunch of women are all together. You know, some fire and spice lights like happens no matter what. And especially in our group, that's what you expect, like immediately. And it happened. So we had some clarifications. We had some difficult, sad moments. We had some fire going on. But I think overall, and to me, you see, it was the first reunion. I never watched any reunions in my life before coming to the show. And I refused because I didn't want to be kind of know what's going on. I like throw me into the fire. I want to see, I don't want to have any preconceived ideas or wondering I should be like this, like that, like that. No, I am like this, take me or leave me, whatever you want. And that's how I went into the reunion. And my expectations, my no expectation expected my expectations, you know.
Yeah.
Fun.
I love it. We can't wait. Like, we can't wait. And do you want to talk to us quickly about the inspiration behind, the fashion in Miami? Because I go to Miami. I'm going to be I would love to. I'll talk to Jen about seeing you when I'm there. I'm going to come April, God willing, 15th to the 20th. I love the fashion in Miami. Talk to us about what inspired you. Your fashion was like on point every episode. What inspired you besides being a beauty Russian queen to, with your fashion, your skincare, your beauty,
I called my friend, a designer who actually made our wedding dresses with Martina. So it's like a Chernaya, a bridal house. And they're like so supportive. And I said, guys, and my friend Renato, who is a designer there, I said, look, I know you guys do bridal dresses, but do you think I have something I could kind of fit in? I would love to wear your piece because it was like symbolic. You did my wedding dress and Martina's white tuxedo. And they were amazing. They said, come over. So I came in and they had like this teeny tiny model sizes. So I put this dress on and cracked the back of it. So I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? And he was so sweet. He literally like made a dress on me for me just in time for the reunion. And I was super happy. And, it was just symbolic for me to wear a dress of my greatest friend. And and just be me.
I love it. We have so much to tune in for. One last question before we wrap up and before the soundbite that we do. I wanted to ask you, for Chanel in the City audience, what is your favorite place in Miami? Restaurant or place to escape to have fun, to check out when we're there?
Like my thing is, my life is farm to glam. That's how I live.
Oh, so, I love that.
So I have some places that literally like moms and pops, little holes in the world that some people don't even know about. Like one of my favorite places I would go just to, and it was like also before I had my farm, and even now, it's this place down in Redlands, South Miami. It's called Collins Square. It's this old historical village. You think you're on another planet, like in another century. It has little like old-fashioned tea room. It has this big like aviary shop where they like have birds and little crystal shops. You walk around. It's just like this energy. You really think you like skipped 200 years ago, and you would never expect it to be in Miami. And you can buy like local fruits and vegetables around the corner, little nurseries, smell of mangoes if you are in the mango season, and little like Mexican stands with amazing tacos. It's such a treat to go there.
Oh, I would love to. I'm going to check that out.
Really off people's radar, but it's off beaten path, but it's amazing. It's just like if you have few hours to spend, you just go and stroll all around there.
That's amazing. I love that. Well, Julia, thank you so much for being on this podcast. We love you. We're rooting for you and Martina. Let us know where we can follow you and anything you'd like to plug in terms of your businesses and what we could look forward to in terms of your brand and your empire.
Thank you. Well, right now it's like my life is kind of my business of my animals. I have a social media. I'm on like Instagram, like Julia Lemigova. That's what I do. And I take pictures of my cows and dogs and donkeys. And that's all I do kind of all day, work on the farm, cleaning the stalls, taking care of the animals, and cook for my kids.
I
when they
love
come
this
home.
whole farm to glam girl. Girl, that should be your brand. You need to be the next Bethany Frankel with that. Farm to glam. That shit, I will buy into that. You know what? I'll also move to the farm and help you take care of the animals since, you know, my comedy
when
career
you're
might not be.
here, thank you all.
Thank you, though, so much, guys. Make sure to tune in to Julia Lemigova on Bravo TV on the Real Housewives of Miami, streaming now on Peacock and on Bravo TV, one of our favorite franchises. We can't wait till it comes back.
I'm Julia Lemigova from the Real Housewives of Miami, and you're listening to me on Chanel and the City podcast with Chanel Omari.